Hope you're doing good. Micah back with another video. Back here to talk about what's on my MacBook Pro. Specifically, how I have my MacBook set up. I've only had it for a couple weeks now. I think it's 2 straight Fridays now. I would have had it for 2 weeks. Maybe like technically a third week. The point is, we're not going to sit here and focus on that. How I've been able to try to transition from using an iPad or a tablet. I've been tablet life for the past 8 years. How have I been able to transition from an iPad Pro to the MacBook? And you'll probably kind of notice the way I have my laptop set up so far. It's going to kind of feel a little tablet-ish just because I'm so used to that workflow. But we're going to start with, my taskbar, and then we're going to go into my settings. And then we're going to tackle the menu bar to see what I have going on there as well. So if you guys are interested in this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe channel, hit that notification bell. It's all free. That way it's our video. So you and I can sit back, check, see what's cracking. Don't forget to hit that super thanks button down there by the like and dislike button. Cash App, PayPal, and check out the channel for all the videos available to you. That's a way to keep tech fresh and alive on this channel. Now let's get into the video. And as I said, the first thing we're going to show is the fact that my taskbar is missing. And that's because I made the decision to hide the taskbar. And all I got to do is scroll down. I'm not using a mouse right now. I'm just using the touchpad. All I got to do is scroll down to the bottom of the screen. And as you see, it will pop up. And you see it's pretty lengthy because I have a few things that are open that probably don't also need to be open, just to shorten it up a little bit there. But I like to keep all my apps here that I primarily use on my desktop, and then I have it hidden. Now, honestly, I wouldn't mind having it out and about if it wasn't for me working in DaVinci. And so if I swipe up, I use the 4-finger swipe up. If I swipe up, you'll get to see all my available desktops that I have active. I have one that pretty much does all my windows of apps. I have Safari right there, and then I have a separate desktop dedicated to DaVinci. And the interesting thing is when you are in DaVinci, of course you can hide the taskbar, but if I actually decided to make it, visible, so let's say I, turn hiding off, now it's kind of in the way. So I can't, all the way use everything. So I wonder if, because I am in full screen with DaVinci, does it account for the taskbar if it wasn't hidden for? Like if I shut it down and reopen it, would it actually adjust for that? And so for those reasons, that's why I just keep it hidden, because it interferes with me being able to completely use DaVinci the way I would like to. So that's my taskbar. Now, what's on my taskbar? Well, I have Finder in the corner. I have my email app, and I need to check them emails because I got about 10 there. Safari, reminders, and I use reminders to really set up my video ideas, whether I have gifted sponsors or an official sponsor. And then my video concept ideas or videos that I'm ready to shoot and or record and or upload. And so that's what I use reminders for. I use a notes app for general note taking, for light scripting, in other words, the ideas I want to talk about in the video, as well as the points, the specs, the research that I do to make sure I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the technology that I'm trying to showcase or talk about with you guys. And then I have Lightroom. I don't really use it on my MacBook right now because the subscription I have is mobile based, and I pay like $50 a year just to use it on mobile because I was doing that with my iPad and my iPhone. And so for now, I edit my photos on my iPhone because that's where my subscription lives. But apparently Lightroom has a separate subscription for, I guess, Lightroom Classic or the desktop version. And so for those reasons, I just don't edit on my MacBook. But I have it there whenever I can finally dive into that on my MacBook. DaVinci, as I just showcased you guys, YouTube and YouTube Studio, which are basically just the web apps. I just turn them into docking apps. I have Apple News that I love using. I finally decided to do the little 1-month free subscription just to access some more news channels that I could get more information from. We'll see if I keep it after a month. I would like to, because I do like Apple News, and I like that the format slightly changes, at least on the iPhone when you're subscribed to Apple News, so that's pretty cool. I have my App Store, of course, that I come in here and I routinely check for updates, as I do with all my devices. I have my JW Library app, which looks pretty nice on the MacBook. I actually wasn't expecting to find their app in in the desktop space, but it's very good to see that it's basically one-to-one with the iPhone and the iPads, but I do have that there. I have the Apple TV, which comes custom or default as part of the docking station by Apple, which is fine. And shout out to Apple TV because they've been coming out with a lot of nice shows as of recently to actually watch. So I have that there. I have the web version of Netflix because, again, it's pretty interesting that the next few apps that I'm about to mention, none of them have actual apps except for Prime Video. Everything else I had to save from the web, and that's Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Max, with the exception of Prime Video, Paramount Plus, and Crunchyroll. I'm gonna change that logo for Crunchyroll to be orange, so that way we know what it is. That's where I watch my anime. We got my settings down here. Now my calculator, the maps, and the podcast are apps that are not locked in on my desktop. Those I open when I need to, but I don't even have to go and locate the calendar app because of an app I found to actually make scheduling things within the app a lot easier. And then I have the downloads and the trash bin over there, of course. And as you guys can see, I have different download or different colored folders, which we'll get into again later. So now the next thing we're going to get into is my system settings. And how do I have this pretty much set up? So if we come in here to, let's see, I do have my Bluetooth on. I believe I keep my Bluetooth on. And as you see, all I have is my AirPods and my MX Master 3S mouse. I'm not using it, but I do have it right here, as you guys can see. If it focuses on it. I like this mouse a lot. And I got the Mac version when I jumped onto the iPad. So what a beautiful transition over to the MacBook Pro with this same mouse. So that's my Bluetooth situation. Network wise, I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, I don't have a firewall active right now. I guess I could, not a big deal, but I could get that active. Then my notifications, I have quite a few apps that do not send me notifications, as you guys can see there. Sound, I do have the sound on, and I have noticed it was slightly annoying because like I'll have the sound on my phone, and if I'm getting a ton of text messages in the group chat, both of them are just going haywire. So I might tweak this for my MacBook, but I do have my sound on. I only use the focus modes that's attached to my phone. So because Apple's ecosystem is pretty resolute in that way, I don't even have to really focus on my focus modes, on separate devices. They all sync appropriately, and I'm actually very fine with that. Screen time wise, I think I have this active, but I don't really look at this because that's the thing I've been struggling with the MacBook in general, is the fact that as much as I love having the MacBook and the power that is more than like I had the M2 iPad Pro. I switched over to the M1 Pro MacBook Pro and immediately have noticed a change in difference in power and performance. But I'm still not used to using it as a laptop because I'm so used to tablet, mobility, portability that like I'm trying to find ways to use the laptop. Because once I'm done with the laptop, when it comes to the work, it's a little harder to be very leisure and recreational with it as opposed to the iPad. Once I'm done editing, I can just turn around, grab it, go somewhere else, watch something or read something a lot easier, whereas this is just one complete package. And so like that's why Apple News is kind of like the second thing I probably do the most on here outside of trying to get my typing on, scheduling things. A lot of that just flows a lot easier using the laptop over my phone. But an iPad with a keyboard, definitely solved a lot of that. And so those are the things that I'm like having an issue transitioning to. And I think once I get an iPad, get an iPad again, all things will be settled and balanced in terms of my workflow and how I can, put the laptop away once I'm done with it, because I have the iPad to offset the rest of my little work functions that I can do. And so in terms of general, I'm on macOS 14.5. We don't have any updates, and I'm curious to see if we're gonna get any other updates prior to WWDC on June 10th, and that's because iOS 18 is going to be debuted. And so are we done at this point? Will there be no iOS 17.6, iPadOS 17.6, macOS 14.6? Are we done and now we're straight focusing on macOS 15, iOS 18, iPadOS 18? watch OS 11, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if we get any other updates between now and the next unveiling of iPhones. We'll see. My storage is sitting somewhere. I've only used 173 gigs out of 494. This is the 512 gigabyte model MacBook. And one of the things, again, that you struggle with as you first jump into a new space is understanding the RAM and and the storage that you need. And so for me, that's something that I now know I need at least 16, preferably, I would love like the middle ground of like 24, but 36 gigs of RAM will be fine, and at least 2 to 4 terabytes. I think that will definitely give me ease to know I can leave stuff on this device before I have to like maneuver storage around. I like doing it now because I like touching my MacBook. I like touching it, but that will get old in time, and so I want to make sure that the next MacBook I get, I have a suitable amount of storage. Anything else, I keep my AirDrop on so I could consistently send things between my phone and my MacBook. I don't have Apple Care on this because, again, this is an older laptop that was bought third party via Swapper, and so they didn't have it. In terms of anything else I need to talk about in this section, nothing. Appearance, I use the multicolor accent color. I have it on dark mode. My sidebar icon size is large. I like seeing things without having to dip into the MacBook, so I like using larger icons, larger fonts. That way I can read it from afar. In terms of any accessibility settings, I think I do have a few things in here. I do. So I can adjust the keyboard brightness and low light. I do use auto punctuation. Keyboard shortcuts is a nice, interesting conversation in general because there are a ton of keyboard shortcuts, and I didn't even realize this is where you can actually go find them. But for myself, I have a lot going on in terms of keyboard shortcuts that I'm still learning and trying to remember. It's just like a constant learning process when it comes to keyboard shortcuts. So that is somewhere where if you wanted to find out keyboard shortcuts for various different aspects of the MacBook, you could come into that keyboard section there. I do have pointer control key options. So if we go pointer control, trackpad options. Here, the dragging style. So I do the three finger drag. I have that set up there. Use trackpad for dragging. So I definitely use the trackpad, and like if I just take 3 fingers, I can move this wherever I want to. And that's it. I don't have to press and hold and all that. I just take 3 fingers, and you start learning how to relax because you already have, fingers very close to the trackpad. So being able to just take 3 fingers, move it around, and then go back to using 1 or 2 fingers is relatively simple. So that's something that I use for the operation of my MacBook. Control center wise, I don't have a lot being shown in my control center. If I show you guys real quick, not that much, just like my network settings, my focus settings, stage manager that I actually don't use on the MacBook. I kind of want to, but then I kind of don't. And I think maybe Stage Manager would definitely work on this desktop that I currently use with all my windows, because then it'd be a lot easier to kind of switch through my windows. But then I lose, I think, some screen real estate. So that's probably why I'm not as gung-ho about using Stage Manager on my MacBook as I was on my iPad Pro. Funny enough, of course, the iPad Pro is a little bit smaller, but you know what you're working with the iPad. So it's just kind of interesting how you kind of have inverse ideas between the iPad and the MacBook. But I digress. Screen mirroring, my display, my sound, what I'm currently listening to, which was Apple Podcasts, the amount of battery I have left. And funny enough, I spent a good 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, watching anime last night on my MacBook while watching TV. I only lost 38%. Like, I still have plenty of battery life left to be able to edit this video that I'm shooting right now, that I'm recording right now. And we'll probably still have enough battery to do some light surfing before actually having to put this on the charger. So shout out to the MacBook having phenomenal battery life. But that is my control center. So let's see, Siri and Spotlight. I use Siri, but not really. I use Siri in terms of the button, F5. I use Siri in that way, but I don't really call out the Siri like that. And then when I do Spotlight, I've actually checked off a lot of this type of stuff that I don't want to see pop up. So that way, whatever I do want to pop up loads up faster and loads up higher, or is ranked higher. So that way I can select that as soon as possible. Here, I haven't really had to play in here like that. My desktop and dock, as you see, my size of my dock is small, but I use magnification on high, so that way when I scroll past it, it enlarges it. I like the effect of it for the MacBook. Let's see, position on screen, double click Windows title bar to zoom. Yep, I use a scale effect instead of the genie effect. I minimize windows into the application icon. You automatically hide and show the dock. Yep, I do that. I already showed you guys that there. And that's pretty much it. In terms of here, click wallpaper to reveal desktop always. Let's see, show recent apps in Stage Manager. I have that checked on for when I decide to use Stage Manager. I might try it to see what happens here. We'll see. Widgets, I use my widgets on desktop and Stage Manager, but as you see, I keep a clean aesthetic, so it really doesn't matter in terms of widgets. I do not use iPhone widgets because those iPhone widgets really only operate the iPhone, and since I use my iPhone relatively often, I don't have to necessarily actively engage with my iPhone from my MacBook in that way. So that's why for now I just have that toggled off. Only laptop or MacBook based widgets are in use right now. Mission control, that's what that's called. The four finger swipe up is mission control, I believe. And then yes, I can rearrange stuff. I like that. You can group windows by application. That's cool, but I'm fine with that. And you can access or see more shortcuts or create more shortcuts down here, including the hot corners. And I think I have one of these corners. Yeah, so if you see there in the corner, that little black cube, that's for quick notes, I believe. And so I can do that if I absolutely needed to, which is nice. Displays only have one, and I'm using more space to get as much as possible. I could go default where everything goes back to being larger, but I like more space because I need it, especially for my menu bar. And then automatically adjust brightness. I do not have True Tone on. I don't use it for whatever reason. It's not a big deal. I just don't use it. Wallpapers, I have a folder that I have created for wallpapers, and case in point, you guys, wallpapers on this channel are typically found on Twitter, and now it's kind of become various artist based. And so the more you guys support, and when I say go check out specific artists, let them know I sent you to them, and maybe there's a situation where me and that artist can agree, and then I can actually drop the links to the wallpapers in a much easier fashion. You just gotta let them know I sent you, so that way we could kind of get that in the motions. One of the main artists that I've used for the longest is AR7. You can find him on Threads and X or Twitter. Just do, search AR7, and I think his name's AR7 2014 or something like that, in terms of his handle. But AR7 fire wallpapers, check him out for sure. In terms of the desktop ones, and I don't get too many of those from him, but with the way Twitter's algorithm is now, if you want to find wallpapers, all you gotta do is like and or repost a few, and if you refresh your timeline, you'll get flooded with wallpapers now. So that's a gift and a curse, because someone who loves wallpapers just starts drowning in wallpapers and saving them, and that's what starts taking up space on my devices. Is just, I got 1,000 wallpapers I found on Twitter. I do randomly shuffle them, and they shuffle every 30 minutes. I could lessen that if I wanted to. It's not a big deal to me. That just means they'll rotate faster. There's certain ones that I would like to see a little bit longer, so sometimes I might come in here and check it off, or change the interval of the shuffle. But I definitely use the shuffle, and I come down here, and for wallpapers, I have it on shuffle. I definitely love the dynamic wallpapers, or the landscape, cityscape, earth wallpapers. And then you can come in here, and once you have them downloaded, you can shuffle them or shuffle by category. And I like the moving animation between the lock screen transition into your home screen. I love that transition. I love the animation, the live wallpaper effect. So between me using my own wallpapers now and or that, you can't go wrong on a MacBook. In terms of screensaver, I don't think I really use that. Show as wallpaper, showing all spaces, shuffle landscape every 12 hours. Why not? I don't really even deal with it, so it's not a big deal. Battery is normal. It's been phenomenal. As you guys see, it was charged around about 7:30 before it finally started to trickle down, and then of course it's plateaued because it wasn't in use. We were asleep. Battery health wise, it's normal, and I have 98% left. I believe when I got this, it had 98 or 99%. So if I only lost 1%, that's just because it's finally got 90 to 100 charge cycles into it now, maybe even 100. I don't know if this actually tells you the cycle count. It does not. But oh, I think I can find it. Battery life has been very good. It's been very good on this. I've been enjoying it. Like I said, just yesterday alone, I could get through 2 videos sometimes, 2 lengthy 4K video edits, and still have plenty of battery life left. So the battery life on this is absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't recommend it any more than I already have for the MacBook. And this is the M1 Pro. This is not the M3. The M1 Pro, based off of the previous user's use, only lost 1% or 2, and then here I am still with that within that same degradation period of 1% or 2 on the battery life of a 3-year-old laptop. He had 90 charge cycles at the time. If I've had it for 2 weeks, I probably put another 10 to 15 charge cycles on it, so maybe 10. And that's because I'm gonna use it more. I edit, so I think editing will maybe eat into it more, but we'll see, because I don't really run it hard like that. Maybe eventually I will, which means I need to get a more beefier laptop. But as of right now, doing pretty good. Let's see, lock screen. Let's see, show username and photo. That's about it. And touch screen, I use fingerprints. And that's pretty much it to show here. I do have my printer attached to my, so that way if I ever need to print, I can do that. Now, alternatively, I believe you can actually drag this down to your taskbar and actually have your printer down here too. So that's also good to know. My menu bar. Because this video has ran the 25 minutes, I think I'm gonna do a part 2 and actually name that video like, top 10 Mac apps or something like that, or 10 Mac apps you can't live without, because I want to talk about why I actually have my menu bar set up this way. And although it's simple, I think it'll be better to be a dedicated video as opposed to how I have my current MacBook setup, which I just did. Just an overview of how I have it set up for use. And so if you guys want to see that video will probably drop next week, and we'll be right back here. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you have your laptop set up similar? Are you on MacBook? Are you on Windows? Are you still on tablet life? The comment section is open for discussion. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe channel, the notification bell. It's all free. That way it's my video, so you and I can sit back, check, see who's cracking. And don't forget to hit that super thanks button down there by the like and dislike button, Cash App or PayPal. And check the channel out for all the videos available to you. That's a way to keep tech fresh and live on this channel. It's your man Micah signing out. Till the next video. Wait for it.